back to Ice Wolves Insider, and it's now time for From the Stands. And on tonight's program, we're joined by Ice Wolves followers Kevin Radloff and Keith Kratchmer. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Kelly.
Glad to be here for the first time.
All right. Yeah, welcome to the new season. Let's talk about, obviously, the upcoming home opener. I think there's still quite a bit of excitement in town. People wondering, okay, what is this team going to look like with the departure of all those veterans from last season? Obviously, a championship team last season. People talking about, can this team actually repeat? Kevin, how do you see the season unfolding in terms of the guys that they've got back and in terms of reasonable expectations this year?
I think you've got a lot of guys that know how to win now. You've got guys that can show the rookies how to win. You've got a couple of rookies who were at the RBC and throughout some of the playoffs with Boyer and some of the young guys, and I think they can show what they can do, and they know what to do now.
Yeah. Do you think even the fact that the RBC wasn't really necessarily a super positive experience, or even the Anabec Cup, just being exposed to that level of competition, do you think the game maybe for some of those guys is going to appear slower in the SJHL this year?
Yeah, I think it brought them up a notch. You know, they might not have, they got a win at the RBC, they didn't get their job done, but it brought everybody up a notch, and I think that other teams are going to be gunning for them, and that'll bring them up to try to keep the pace.
All right. So how do you see this team looking this year? What do you think will be, maybe some of the strengths this year?
Well, definitely forward. We got a lot of guys coming back that know how to score. We got a lot of scorers. I think we're quick. I think our goaltending is a definite positive too. We know we got another returning goalie who just finished winning a league, and just look for a backup and see if they can give him a hand.
You think they're going to be able to overcome the loss of all those 20-year-old blue liners this year?
I think we can. I think we just have to pick through some leftovers from the dub and grab a couple of guys. I've heard some stuff about some guys showing up here, and I think Bob usually got something under his sleeve. You never know.
Yeah. Keith, you've had a chance to actually see at least one of the preseason games, the 9-8 win on home ice last Wednesday. What did you see in that game? Your take on what you saw that game?
Well, lots of offense, both sides. We had some good scores on that team, and we were finishing well at the net too. It wasn't that we were just scrambling and shooting wide or just missing entirely, but we had nice finishes, and that was good to see too. It's a lot of finesse with a lot of especially even the new guys. The defense, well, we had I think a couple of guys out, plus new pairings, so we were a bit lax in that area, but and the goaltending, rookie goaltenders, so they got quite a few goals. It'd be nice to see that tightened up, and I think obviously did that on Saturday. But overall, it looked great. I know the fans in my section were very, very pleased and very impressed.
Is there anything, Keith, that you're, like any question about the team that you're particularly looking to see answered this year? There's something you're wondering about this current team?
Well, I think whether we can carry that momentum from last year and whether the new guys will feed off the veterans that were there last year and try to emulate that same success, and whether we can carry it through. You know, if we do start out well, that we maintain that level, that we don't have these gaps where we start out well, maybe not do good, or the other way around. As long as we can maintain a consistency, I think we'll do fine.
All right. Well, guys, that's all I had to ask you tonight. Unless there's anything else you want to mention about the upcoming season.
I'd just like to say I heard there was a great attendance out for the preseason game, and that was huge for here. And I'd like to see this place packed. It's rock and roll.
Yeah, that's with me too. I hope the fan attendance is great, and I hope we get a lot of good support this year.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see what happens there. Yes. Okay, well, Kevin, Keith, thanks for being on the program today.
No problem.
All right, if you're just joining us, this is Ice Wolves Insider, and this has been another edition of From the Stands. We'll be right back to wrap things up. Well, that's all the time we have for this evening's program, folks. Just want to remind you that this coming Friday is the Ice Wolves home opener versus the Nipawin Hawks. Game time is 7:30, although you might want to get there a little early because it should be a great crowd. Then, of course, the Ice Wolves play again on Sunday versus the Kindersley Clippers again on home ice. Again, that's all the time we have for tonight. I want to thank our guests this evening, Ice Wolves head coach Bob Beatty, as well as Ice Wolves players Travis Eggum and Adam Bartko, and, of course, our fans. And from the stands, Kevin Radloff, and Keith Kratchmer. That's all the time we have. We'll see you next week.